Now, when you guys first announced this game many years ago for the PlayStation 3, would you have ever dreamed that we'd be sitting here now talking about an Xbox 360 version? Are you surprised that the tide has sort of turned and that the 360 is sort of the more viable platform at this point?
やはりその数年前っていうのは
Back when we first announced the game for the PS3, we had no idea or plans at that time for a 360 version. It's all about the timing. During the development cycle, we really realized that the 360 was strong abroad, and we had a lot of requests from fans to bring the series to that platform. So it's not something we had planned at all, and we're pretty excited about this opportunity.
You guys tend to, when you make games for both platforms, give something exclusive to each one. Any plans on having exclusive characters in each version?
Nothing's currently decided regarding that.
With the Xbox, obviously you have Xbox Live, which is probably the most popular online gaming service in the world. It's certainly much more robust than the PlayStation Network that you got on the PlayStation 3. Was that another consideration when you guys decided to bring the game to the 360, that it had a better online offering?
Of course, that was one of the factors in the decision. Tekken is a versus fighting game, so of course you have to have the environment to be able to fight players that are farther away from your home over the internet. And since X Live is a very viable platform for this, it made it a very good choice.
Will you be able to release the two versions on the same day in both territories? And if so, would you say it's been much easier to get the game finished on the 360 than it has been on the PlayStation 3?
Well, actually, the PS3 and the 360 version are going to be released the same day. But regarding our release schedules for the US and Europe, it's not really decided yet, so we can't comment that at this point. And regarding your question about the 360 development, it's not really easy at all. We developed the game for the PS3 architecture, and we take advantage of a lot of those features, so it's going to be quite difficult to port to the 360, we think. However, we're not even close to finished yet, so that's something we have to finish the game to comment on.
Why has it taken so long for this game to be released? I remember when they first showed the PlayStation 3 in America many years ago, Tekken was one of the first games that they've showed, yet we still haven't had the game released yet for the PS3. Was the PS3 version delayed so you could catch up with the Xbox 360 version? How did that work out?
Of course, that wasn't really a factor in the schedule. Originally, we created Tekken 6 in the arcade for a PS3-based architecture board. And after we released Tekken 6 in the arcades, we had a lot of user feedback. A lot of things they wanted. They wanted more new characters. They wanted more customizable options, parts and whatnot. And we hadn't really taken full advantage of the power of the board as well. Being based on the PS3, this also translates to the home version. So it was decided to go out and make Bloodline Rebellion for the arcade and update the arcade franchise. And we were able to add a lot more. We added new characters, we added a lot of features, improved the graphics. We were able to do a lot of things we initially wanted to do in this kind of expansion for the arcade. And of course, this also is all going to be brought to the home version as well. So it's not like we delayed the schedule to catch up with the Xbox. It was to make the game more solid and to kind of please fans and answer the requests that they had about 6. So it's not like we delayed the game to catch up with the 360.
What kind of improvements can we expect from the console versions versus the arcade version, if any?
We can't really comment on what we have planned for the home version yet. However, we can say that it's going to be on a much larger scale than anything we've done before for the home versions. One other thing we really want to focus on is to add some new way of playing online as opposed to just standard versus. So that's some of the things we're thinking about for the home version.
What have you guys learned from watching the successes and failures of all the fighting games that have come before Tekken this generation? Soul Calibur, Street Fighter 4. What have you really learned from their mistakes over the last couple years that's going to help you guys make Tekken a better game?
Well, since the game mechanics of each of the fighting games and Tekken is quite different, I can't really comment for certain on that. We've probably learned the most between the different installments in the Tekken franchise. For example, the game has sold 33 million copies worldwide currently, It's especially taking off in Europe at the moment. So it's very popular worldwide, and it's one thing that we really have to consider. And even just among the different installments, some have sold particularly well, but weren't really well received by the fans. And there's each installment is pretty much unique in how the fans received it. Also, we really have to think about the needs of Japan, Asia, Europe, and the US. So trying to balance all of that into one product is quite difficult. And when we listen to the fans, it's not really just what they're saying on the surface. We really have to think about what they really mean for their needs in the Tekken franchise. So that's also difficult in itself.
Recently, PlayStation fans were dealt a pretty heavy blow when they found out that Final Fantasy XIII was also going to the 360. I think a lot of PlayStation fans feel like Tekken has always been sort of their fighting franchise. And I think maybe there might be some angry PlayStation fans out there right now to find out that this game, too, is going to the Xbox 360. What do you have to say to those people?
It really is a very difficult question, especially for him or for myself. I've been with the project well over 10 years, from the start of the PS1 actually, and the arcade hardware as well. So it's been a long relationship we've had with the PlayStation, and we have nothing but love for it, but we just had so many requests from the foreign audience, from people who had only a 360 and not a PS3, and they really wanted us to bring the franchise to the platform so they could play it. And we just really wanted to answer those fans' requests and try to get Tekken in the hands of everyone who wants to play the game.